welcome to Business Focus with Tosin, your favorite plug for everything business. I want to start by thanking you all for the overwhelming support and welcome you gave us when we first launched the first episode. Honestly, you guys are the best. You are amazing, and we don't take this love for granted. To our returning subscribers, we appreciate you and we promise to always deliver content that will not only educate you but will also inspire you to achieve greatness. And if you're yet to subscribe to this YouTube channel, please do so and you will not be disappointed. In the last episode, our introductory version, we talked about reaching out to business owners, discussing with them, learning from their experience and their success story. So, in this episode, our crew sought out a local business in Canada. And the reason for that is someone once said that learning from others' success story helps us to identify ours and to learn from them. And so, this local business is actually fully owned by a fantastic immigrant family. They'll be sharing their experience and success story with us. IJ and Joyce Ojeifo are Nigerians based here in Canada, in Saskatoon, Canada. Over time, they have developed a heart for business since high school days. They currently manage their logistics business here in Saskatoon, in Regina, and in Calgary. The Ojeifos are an inspiration to many upcoming business owners. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming the Ojeifos to the show. Drum rolls.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Finally, we're doing this. It's been weeks of postponing over and over and over. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited that you're here with us today.
We are also excited being with you. Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. Awesome. You know, your family is one of those that I really admire. Not only for the way you carry your family, but also for the businesses you have been doing over the years. I know a little about it, but I know that our audience, our guests, our viewers will love to know you more. Tell us a little about yourself.
Maybe I'll allow her to start, so Joyce.
Yes, ladies first.
Okay, my name, just like she has rightly mentioned, is Joyce Ojeifo. I'm a HR professional and married to this wonderful gentleman, IJ Ojeifo.
Thank you.
I'm blessed with 3 wonderful kids.
So for me, my name is IJ Ojeifo. I have engineering background, so I'm a trained engineer. I actually did electrical electronics in school. And thereafter, I moved into the IT industry. So I could say that it's been, a kind of move from IT down to logistics and supply chain. And I think that's given me the kind of the experience that I currently have to run the business.
Fantastic! Wow, from IT to logistics, and just like you said, technology is like the basics of everything, so that would even help you in the logistics business. So I like the fact that you've already introduced us into how you veered into logistics. So I didn't introduce you probably at the beginning. They are the owners of 2 Men and a Truck franchise here in Saskatoon, and that's the logistics business we're going to be talking about today. So how did that start for you? How did it all begin? I know we've learned a little about how you veered into logistics, but 2 Men and a Truck.
Okay. Interestingly, I would say, right, that it wasn't 2 Men and a Truck that I actually started with when I came into Canada, right? So what happened was there was a time I've always had that heart for business. All right, just as you rightly said, even when I was in my university days, I always look for ways to explore to do business, right? Yeah. So when I came into Canada, I was always looking for what business which opportunities are there, all right? What can I do? And I did start up quite a number of businesses, right? And interestingly, some of them failed, right? But the point there is, I didn't stop. All right, so what actually took me into 2 Men and a Truck? I have a very wonderful friend of mine, very close. I call him a brother. All right, he is the one running the two-man and a truck in Calgary and in Edmonton. All right, so I saw when he bought into the franchise opportunity and he started running it. I was interested in getting to understand. Okay, this business opportunity that you're running, how is it? So, all right, I studied what he was doing for about a year, and he was, guiding me. Okay, this is what I do. This is how we do it. All right, of course, without disclosing any of the confidentiality that he has signed with the franchisor. All right, so it came to a time I said, okay, I think I'm interested in doing this, and it also ties with my experience, right? So he said, okay, you can do it. So we now searched out territories that were available. I was living in Calgary with my family, and I did see that there's an opportunity in Saskatchewan, right? Because it's actually zoned, or each territory is designed based on the population, right?
Okay.
So that of Saskatchewan was together. There were other opportunities, but I said, we took time to pray about it, my wife and I. All right, do we, moving all the way from Calgary down to Saskatchewan, of course, you need to really pray to be
Absolutely.
sure that, and to start a business, not as if you're actually going to start you are going to be working, you are starting a business. All right, so that's actually a major step that you're going to be taking, right?
Absolutely.
So it says, I'll call it a step of faith.
It
right?
is. It is. It's a really big step
All right,
of faith.
I would call it a step of faith. So it tied with what my experience, from what I've seen, and from all the other things some researches that I also did about the business. I said, okay, I think it's something worth giving a trial. All right, and we prayed, and here we are.
Wow. Taking that big leap, a
Yes.
step of faith, trusting God all the way.
I can tell you that again.
Wow, that is fantastic.
If I may add something to that, it was not a decision we took at the snap of a finger, right? When we were given the opportunity, it took us about a year plus, because we couldn't come to terms that, okay, we'll be leaving our family, community,
Yeah.
changing the children's school, and moving to a territory that we do not know anything about, or know people. So we took our time. At some point, we let it lie low until one day he went out with a friend, and he came back and he said to me that, what my friend asked me when I told him of the opportunity we have in Saskatchewan. He asked, what is keeping you in Alberta?
Wow. Wow.
And we decided to sit down and say, okay, exactly what is keeping us here?
Hmm.
Because at that time, he was still working in Nigeria, so fluctuating between Nigeria and Canada. So I was just doing my own financial advice of business because I had to stay for the kids. And we asked ourselves, so exactly what's keeping us in Alberta? We decided to look at everything and we said, okay, it's just the house that we have built. I can do my business anywhere. You are not
Absolutely.
working here.
Yeah.
So I think that will just spark something inside of us and say, okay, let's take this to God in prayer. Maybe we should go for it.
That was the answer you needed
Yes.
to move. Wow, fantastic. And I love the fact that you shared that story with us, because a lot of people are afraid of taking the next move. So many people have great ideas. They know they want to do something more. They want a lot more than they are having now, but they're afraid to take that leap of faith. They're afraid to take that next step. So I'm sure someone is learning something from what you have said now. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Wow.
So let's talk about Two Men and a Truck. It's a franchise. How easy was it to get into that franchise? And apart from that, also share with us, apart from the fact that you saw your friend into it, why did you choose Two Men and a Truck?
So one thing I've learned in business is this, right? Startups are usually quite challenging when you are starting up a business. So I had quite a number of startups when I was in Calgary, and just as I said, a number of them failed. All right, so this, my friend, all right, that is in Calgary, we always exchange ideas. We always talk business, and if he calls me anytime, we are talking business, all right? So that's how bonded we are when it comes to speaking business. So it came to a time, and, we did some analysis, and he said, do you know, IJ, that it's more difficult for you to start up a business all right, just from the scratch, without any support system, and succeed. All right, that most businesses, maybe 1 out of 10 businesses succeed after their fourth or fifth year, something like that. There's a statistics. I don't have the exact number, but there is a statistics like that shows that single businesses that are starting up on their own, that is always difficult for them to succeed.
Absolutely.
But we also did the research and we discovered that it's not the same for a franchise, because the franchise already has a support system. Okay, so we saw that it's better, all right, for you to start up with a franchise that has a support system that you've seen that other people are successful.
Absolutely.
All right, it's like, let me give an instance. If someone starts a Tim Hortons franchise business, you are very sure that wherever you locate Tim Hortons, the brand is already known, right? So the chances of that business succeeding is very high, right? Than starting up a mom and pop, coffee shop. All right, it's going to be difficult. You're going to struggle. No support system. You don't understand the terrain. So the likelihood of that business succeeding is going to be more difficult compared to a brand that is already well known, right? So it was on that basis we said, okay, I think then we started 2 Men on a Truck. We saw that it's been in existence in the US. It's the largest moving franchise business in North America. The presence already in Ontario, all right, and it was coming to the Western Canada, all right. There was no presence at that time, there was no presence in Saskatoon and BC. So we said, okay, we saw that as an opportunity. And when we took a dive, all right, to understand how the business operates, we discovered that, all right, they have some very good success stories. So, and that's another point I also want to share, that of course, franchises are very good, but there are some, all right, that has better opportunity of succeeding and being profitable than the others. So you actually have to be very, careful, do your research as well if you actually, you want to go the franchise way. All right. So that's why we went to the franchise, and in going for the franchise, they already have a support system. All right. That support system is very key. Why is it key? It's because you understand the operations, all right? They will provide you every baby step that you need to take. You have people within the franchise system to discuss with or to ask questions if you don't know, all right? They're able to guide you, all right?
Trainings,
they have trainings, of course, they have training. So they've got of course, people will say, oh, you are paying the franchise fee or the royalties.
Yes.
Are you talking about the royalties, or you are talking about being successful as a business owner? All right, so that's part of the things that led us to say, you know what, since we've made mistakes, in having standalone startups, all right, let us leverage on a franchise, use it to understand how a business should operate in Canada, because of course, most immigrants, like we didn't really understand how businesses thrive. So that gave us opportunity to understand it. Joyce?
Yeah, I think he has covered almost everything. And there's this saying that goes, if you do the same thing the same way, you can never achieve a different result, right?
Yes.
So having tried other businesses and it did not succeed, we decided to do something different, right? And being an immigrant, you have come to a foreign land, you know nothing about how the system works. I think the best thing, if you're really hungry for a business opportunity, is to look at these franchise as, because they're going to guide you all the way. They're going to tell you what to do, the do's and the don'ts, and 2 Men on a Truck had a structure, So they had a foundation, they had a structure, and all we had to do was just to ride on their way.
Ride on their back.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I like that. Riding on the brand. One of the things that I'd said during the introductory video was that we're going to talk about franchising opportunities in Canada. And you've heard it. A lot of people are coming into this country. You want to run a business and you just want to set out with your own ideas alone. Well, it's okay, but it's a new terrain. It's a new territory. You want to learn from others. Mm-hmm. And the struggle might even be more. Why don't you, just like you said, why don't you go to a brand that is established, as long as they have a franchise, and then learn from them and have the opportunities. They always have it.
And just to make a quick tip before we go to the next point, there are people that have started their own businesses and they succeeded. It's not as if you start your own business, it's not going to succeed. So it's for you to have a good understanding of that particular business you're starting. All right, have someone to guide you. All right, should you choose the option of starting your own and not owning a franchise? The only point that I'm making it's easier, all right, for you to be successful, all right, going the line of a franchise because they are already a successful brand, all right, than starting yours, all right. That's just the point. But that doesn't mean if you start yours, it wouldn't survive. You wouldn't be profitable at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
All right. It's just that the chances, there are several things, hurdles you're going to cross, and you might be crossing them alone, all right. So that's where the challenges or that's where the risks are.
Yes.
All right, but not that doesn't have the chance of being successful.
Absolutely. And just like you said, one of the things I picked up from there is it's even easier or faster for you to expand easily. Because like if you're running that franchise, it's easy for you to own this location, have another location elsewhere, have 2-3 locations.
Right.
It's easier. But if sometimes when you start your own and you're trying to run 2 different places at the same time, the struggle might be more. But just like you said, a lot of business owners have started their businesses from the scratch, and they have even transformed that into franchising too.
Right.
So
Right.
yes,
Right.
I met somebody yesterday, and she actually runs a business out of something that she realized is absent in the community, and now she's in BC, and now she's turned it into a franchise,
Right.
and she's running it. So
Right.
that's something that you can also think of.
Right.
You don't have to join another brand. You can be the
You
franchisor.
can be the franchisor.
Fantastic.
You can build your brand.
After all, too many trucks started with two
someone.
brothers. With
Yeah.
someone.
That's it.
So, yeah.
That's it. Wow. Thank you so much. I'm really excited that we're talking about this because this channel is all about educating people and empowering our viewers. While you were talking, IJ, you mentioned about struggles that startups face, and you also shared a few of yours. I mean, you started so many businesses. If you have to look back and say, how many businesses have I even done in my life? I don't know. I'm sure we have to write a whole book about it, and that will be called Book of Experience. So, but we know that it's a lot of struggle to start up business.
Right.
So in terms of even getting a franchise too, it requires a lot. One of them is funding.
You're right.
How did you do yours? How did you go about it?
Okay. In terms of funding, just as there's an old saying that you don't eat everything you earn. All right. Always ensure that you take a path out. All right, called savings. Because there's going to be need for it, at a point in time. So when we looked at when we served the documents and we also checked the financial obligations, we did see that there were some good amount of money that is going to be needed. All right. And of course, the banks are also going to be checking your net worth if you want to get some money from the bank and all that. So we actually had some savings. Okay. So we leveraged on the saving. We took the savings and of course leveraged on the banks. All right. So the banks were there to support us, and the bank really did support us. Right. I have a very fantastic relationship manager. All right. When I mentioned the business, he saw the business, did his research, and that's another point that I want to mention, right? Most managers at the bank, they are also going to be checking how successful is the brand, the franchise you are bringing to the table, all right? Before they support you.
I mean, it's their money.
Yeah, so it has to be. So they saw that Too Many Network was a good brand. They did research. They saw that they were very strong in the US. They are strong in Canada, and good enough, there was one of the franchisees that was using the bank that I was using. So they saw that the banks were already supporting that particular business. So so they said, okay, since our bank is supporting that franchisee, all right, so which means that it's a good brand, so we are ready to also extend support to you. So in answering your question, all right, you must have some savings, and at the same time, the banks are there to also support you. And that also brings to the point where you need to not only have the savings, you also need to ensure that you've got some good credit rating, right? Because all this is going to come to play when they want to start disbursing money. They're going to check your credit rating to be sure, you're not going to.
You'll be able to pay back.
You will be able to pay, exactly, So that's how we were able to, get the funds to start it up.
That is good. So when you're looking at franchising opportunities, you want to be able to have some kind of savings, because the bank is there to support you, and I know that they support franchise opportunities. So but they will support you, but what are you bringing to the table? You must have, they call it skin in the game. You must have the skin in the game.
Correct.
So okay, that is awesome. And you also mentioned something: identify a good brand. What are you taking to them? Is it something they'll be able to support?
Yeah, because before the bank gives like a help, we have different category of franchise, right? You have category A, B, C. The category that McDonald's or Tim Hortons falls into might not be the same category that another brand, like, I don't know what the brand to compare with now. So the bank always look at, okay, is this an A or a B
or a C?
Yeah, or a C. So depending on that, they'll be able to come up with something. And I also know, although we did not leverage on this, but I know these days they have like Canada loans given to small businesses and grants given to even women in business, right?
Absolutely.
So I will, because some people really want to go into it, but they don't have money. Not because they didn't want to save, but they don't have enough savings, in their accounts. But you can leverage on some of these grants and loans given by the government to
do that.
Right, that's correct.
Thank you for bringing that up. That's Canada Small Business Loan. It's actually available, and they can give you as much as 100% financing on such loans. So what you want to do, if you're interested in franchising, talk to your bank. Talk to your account manager, and they will have some information for you around that. Now we're learning, because tomorrow you might see me open my own franchise. These are the lessons I'm learning already. Okay, that is great. Okay, Joyce, the last time we spoke, you had mentioned to me that you love sharing your story with people, because one of the concepts that you believe in is showing people how to climb the ladder. And that's exactly what we're doing here today. But you had said that because you'd like to do that because someone showed you the ropes too, and you like to show others. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay. I think my husband has already mentioned a bit of it, how his friend, told him about 2-minute truck prior to us, joining the business. So I believe that if you hold back information from people, you're actually holding back something that would take them to their destiny, right? And moreover, I asked myself, if I don't tell you, your success, am I going to acquire it?
Very true.
Where you're supposed to be or go with it, or the wealth you're supposed to acquire, is it going to be automatically given to me? Am I going to have like a double, triple? It's not going to add anything to me, right? God has given me, so if I share with you, I'm not losing anything. Instead, I think I'm gaining, because a stagnant water will always stink, right?
Absolutely.
So when the water flows, when you allow information to flow through you, to reaching others, I feel so happy because it has helped me. People told us about some opportunities and we ran with it, right? So now that I have gotten there, I like to share with other people about, okay, I did this and I was able to get to this place. And over the years, we have lived together. And I have lived as a single lady. I can say that God has used that to open a lot of opportunities and doors. Just because you have that heart to share with other people and you're happy when other people are succeeding just like you. So his friend told us about 2-minute truck, and here we are today, and I'm happy because they're still very close friends. Still sharing. You need to hear two of them talk. Is it himself that calls you the man of God and you call him the man of business and all of that? So they rub their minds together. This is what is happening in my province with this business. This is my struggle, and he comes to tell me, okay, I faced the same thing too, and this was how we're able to navigate through it. And so it's a beautiful thing. Life is meant to be this beautiful if people just learn to be open-minded.
Open-minded. Life is meant to be beautiful. If only we can see others as our brothers and sisters and not hoard information from them and share it, because you never know who you will be helping. That someone once said, others' destiny sometimes is in your hands to help them to achieve whatever they want to do. And if you now keep the information to yourself, they will not be able to get that information.
But to God.
Yeah, but God will use someone else anyways to help them, and then you will not be.
That's one beautiful thing about God, right? If you think you're going to keep this information back, trust God. He's going to let us. It might take time, but they will still get it.
They will get it.
Yeah.
They will get it. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We're really learning in this episode, and it's been awesome talking with you guys. I'm empowered as I'm speaking with you. Honestly, I am.